All right. Hey, Griffin. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Nice to see you again.
It's very nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. A lot of hair this time. I think your hair is twice as long as it was on the first. How long are you going to go?
I'm gonna go as long as I can get it. You know, all my friends, especially like Patrick, my rhythm guitar player, his hair is always longer than this, and of course his is like all just tightly curled and like with ringlets. So his is like way longer than mine. So I'm still going. There's
Yeah,
no stopping
right
anytime
down to the
soon.
floor.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Last time you were on, you were just 17, so I'm guessing you're 18, 19 now?
19.
19. All right. Well, congratulations. And you see all the Beatles posters back there? That's very cool.
Yeah. There's some Beatles back there. There's that Paul one right there. That one is my first concert, which was Paul McCartney. And there's some Kiss over here, some Beatles, AC/DC. All my favorites.
Oh, that's very cool. So, who was into all this music that you're way too young to have experienced firsthand?
My mom and my dad loved they loved all the classic rock, and they my mom introduced me to the Beatles whenever she would drive me to school whenever I was in like preschool. Um, And so I started listening to that, and then of course I moved to AC/DC and Kiss, and then Led Zeppelin and Queen, and it just kind of spiraled from there. But I definitely have my parents to thank for my influences.
Well, I want to thank them too because that's the best music in the world as far as I'm concerned. And they put you right on the right track. And I think I mentioned this the last time you were on the show, but I'll mention it again. How I discovered you was I saw you doing Dear Prudence when you were like 9 years old. And I just was
Yeah,
blown away that this little kid could play it perfectly and sing it perfectly. And then I looked you up and found all your other stuff online.
yeah, that was a long, long time ago.
Did you have any problem when your voice changed? I mean, because you could still sing that song, right? Is it just, it's like nothing happened with your voice, but you don't sound like a little kid anymore.
It was definitely a big transition for my voice because of course I was able to hit very, very high notes, and of course I used to be in a Beatles tribute band, and I would sing all the Paul parts because I had the highest voice out of the whole group. Um, but with my voice change, not only did my range go down, but my tone and my timbre, I suppose, my
Timbre, yeah.
tone, it also it changed as well, and of course it sounds more mature now, and it was definitely a big change, but I had to take some more voice lessons just to learn how to use it again, because of course your vocal cords actually change through that transition, and of course you have to learn how to sing again properly while you're going through that, or at least at some point, whenever that change happens.
Well, that's true. Speaking of voice, you were on American Idol and The Voice, right? A few years back. Do
Yes,
you
I
know?
was.
Yeah, we talked about that the last time. Do you know who Sam Harris is?
The name sounds familiar.
I just interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. Really nice guy. He was on the very first season of Star Search way back
Huh.
in the 1980s. And he was like, and he won. And then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, his career skyrocketed. He's done platinum albums and everything. But he was the first guy who started basically the whole thing because Star Search was the first one. Now there's what, 20 of them? X Factor, Voice, America's Got Talent, all of them. Star Search was the first one back in the 80s. So when he was on, I thought of you because I thought, okay, he was the very first one. He's like my age now, but you're sort of at the other end of the spectrum. So I've covered both. I'm happy about that. That I've got the first and the last, sort of. Well, you won't be the last, but definitely more towards the modern side. Well, let's change the tone of this interview from cheery to dreary. How is
Okay.
how has COVID affected your ability to perform? I know it's hurt a lot of performing artists really bad this year.
COVID, it's weird because I do love performing live. That's it's such a humbling and I love playing live because it's more of, you can see the other end of the conversation. Because if you're playing live and you're playing your instruments and you're singing and you're having a good time and you're feeding that energy to your audience, when you're live, you can get that energy back through clapping and cheering and all that type of stuff. It's very nice to get to be in the presence of the other side. But of course, with COVID, it's kind of discouraged, I guess, to be in large groups and to just to be in gatherings of any kind. Um, but I was able to do. I have been able to do some gigs here and there, thankfully. But also, I was able to be a part of this Lemonade TV Plus live stream that was powered by SoundFi, and it was very cool. It was a live stream, so there wasn't really like an audience of any type in the room, but it was very cool because the sound was amazing and it was benefiting the Texas Music Project, which benefited Music Heals, which helps children and helps the Texas Children's Hospital and gives music to those kids in the hospitals. But besides performing, it's given me a lot of time to write music, to just be with myself and just kind of be in my own thoughts and just think of songs that I've wanted to write for a long time, because I've actually been, even with my last album, Believe It, I pulled some ideas from like years prior, especially songs like Light It Up and Some Kind of Love Song. Those ideas were germinating like maybe two years before or something like that. And I'm doing the same for this next album that's going to be coming out soon, and it's going to have ideas that were made this last year, some made this year, and some made a couple years ago. So it's giving me some time to just kind of switch gears from live to studio.
Have you been able to perform outside at all, or I know you're in Texas, right? So they're not quite as severe as other states. California and New York are pretty much shut down. But have you been able to do any kind of live performance outdoors, or?
Yes, I have. I've actually been gigging here and there since May of this year. So I've gotten pretty lucky, especially with I'm in a Beatles tribute. Sorry, a Led Zeppelin tribute band, alongside doing my original projects, and I've been very lucky to have the opportunity to at least play live and keep my chops up. Um, but I've been playing with the Zeppelin tribute band, but I had a couple shows with Vinyl Device while that was still around, and of course I've had shows with the Real Rock Revolution. And so I've had a couple shows here and there, but not quite as much as I used to have.
So let me ask you about the Led Zeppelin tribute band. You've got Robert Plant's hair, but do you? Who are you? Are you Plant in the group?
I'm John Bonham in the group.
You're kidding, really?
Yeah, I
Wow,
play
I
I
would have
play
never
drums in the
guessed.
group, and I'm surrounded by very very talented DFW musicians alongside me. But yeah, I do all the drums.
No kidding. Okay, see, I would have never guessed that. I would have thought you'd be Plant or maybe Jimmy Page. We've got just a couple of minutes, and we're going to check out your new video, which is called Heart Full of Love. Before we get to that, though, I call it instrument inventory, but I think the cool term is rig rundown. And tell me what you've got, and which is your probably favorite guitar if you have one.
Favorite guitar? Man, my double neck is pretty awesome. I've been using that at my original project shows for quite a while now, and it's just a dream. But of course, I love my Les Paul, my newer Les Paul, and I love my Golden Girl, my Armada, all those guitars, and of course, my Taylor, my acoustic is always trusty, and I use it on my acoustic shows.
So let's talk about your video, Heart Full of Love. Tell us a little about the song. How did it come to be?
Heartful of Love, I actually wrote with a very good songwriter, Steve Diamond. And he wrote, he had something to do with the writing of, I think he wrote Rock and Roll Heart by Eric Clapton. And he's a very, very talented songwriter. And I had scheduled to meet him and to at least try writing a song with him. And I brought this other song that I had already like made the music for and like had the whole arrangement ready, and I just needed like lyrics and a melody. Um, and he was like, "Oh, that's good, but I want you to make something up on the spot. Give me something almost melancholy. Give me something a little darker." And of course, I only had my acoustic. Um, so that riff that you hear at the beginning of the song was what just came out. And so we just started kind of playing with that and trying melodies and trying lyrics and trying different chord progressions. And it was a very spontaneous idea. And it was very nice to write like that, because I usually like to write with ideas that I've kind of had in my voice memo library from years ago. And it was very nice to just kind of sit down, have a good song idea in that moment, and just kind of flesh it out right then and there. But this song is actually my first song to feature just an acoustic guitar, because most of my songs are centered around electric guitars, and of course with overdriven sounds and big drums. But I want at least one song to feature an acoustic guitar, because I play a good amount of acoustic shows, and most of my songs are electric guitar based, and they don't translate as well to acoustic. But this is my first acoustic song, you know.
All right. Well, let's have a look at it and a listen to it. This is Heart Full of Love by Griffin Tucker.
She's got a way of shining light through the darkness. She can always see the diamonds in the rough. When the waves are trying their best to take her under, she can make it through it all when times are tough. She's got a heart full of love and a world full of pain. She knows to make the flowers grow, there's gotta be some rain. She pours out her soul, gives so much more than she ever takes. Tell me, where'd she ever get that kind of love in a world full of pain? You know she's not a stranger to the valley. They lead us to appreciate the peaks. She's never gonna tell you that she's got it all figured out. So she faces her life with humility. She's got a heart full of love and a world full of pain. She knows to make the flowers grow, there's gotta be some rain. She pours out her soul, so much more than she ever takes. Tell me, where'd she ever get that kind of love
Hey, that was cool. It is soft though, yeah. Because the last song that we played of yours was a real rock and roll, like you said, overdriven guitars, big drums. This was very sweet, quiet almost.
Yeah, I like to keep a little bit of variety. I get bored easily, so I don't just want to make the same song over and over with the same formula because I like variety's the spice of life, I guess.
Well, sure it
Um,
is. Yeah, it's a
but
little
but
bit
I
sad. This song though, it's a little melancholy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ballad. I haven't The last ballad I made was some kind of love song, and it was a piano based ballad, and of course it was more. I guess it, I guess both songs are very kind of general in the way that they kind of describe this person. Um, but Heartful of Love, it was the first song that I really like purposefully contributed some of the lyrics for, and I just wrote it because I have a lot of very very generous supportive people in my life, and I wanted to write a song that I could just kind of dedicate to the people who have been very supportive and very loving and caring to me through all these years.
Oh, well, that's nice. Unfortunately, we are just about out of time, but I did want to ask you what's on the plate for next year. Assuming we get rid of this COVID thing, everybody gets their vaccine, and then this thing just goes away. What do you got in store for us for next year?
Coming up this next year, I'm hoping to. I know I'm going to be releasing some singles with the new four-piece Real Rock Revolution instead of the three-piece. Um, and there's gonna be three singles coming up. I'm hoping to release my next album this coming year. Um, and besides that, I hope that I'm gonna be gigging a lot more with the new Real Rock Revolution, and I hope I'll be seeing y'all more, all my Griff fans out there. And yeah, it's just gonna be a whole lot of writing, a whole lot of performing, a whole lot of recording, and just all that good stuff.
Well, great. Give us your website real quick where people come check you out and check out your music.
My website is www.griffintuckermusic.rocks, and that's .rocks. You can find all my social media platforms through there, and you can also find what shows I'm playing next through there.
Great. Griffin, it's always nice to see you. Best of luck with everything you're doing. And
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Can't do it just halfway. All the way on love. It's a